الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. So this is going to be the first episode of the notes, I guess you could say, for self-development for this book. So inshallah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually read the note that I have and then, just explain about like why it's important and how we can apply it, whatever needs to be explained with it, inshallah. So I'm going to just each video is going to be one of these notes, inshallah. So in this first episode, I'll be dealing with the first one, which is, I wrote, all results are built on actions that are taken towards achieving those goals. You can write out the most elaborate schedule and buy the most expensive notebook to write your goals in, but until you actually get to work, you are not progressing. So this is very, very important for the people to understand, because a lot of people, they get so caught up in the planning portion of doing things. I have seen people sit here and write these schedules, these elaborate schedules, and put them all over the wall, and I'm going to do this at this second and that at this, and that is not life. That's not life. And then what happens now when you got this elaborate plan and something comes up where you have to take it all down, or something in your life changes so you don't have this time free anymore. So now you have to take this whole elaborate plan down and put up another one. So, obviously when we're setting goals of things that we want to achieve in our lives, in reality. Not in this dream world that we live in where everything's going to be perfect and everything's going to go according to schedule, because it's not. It's not. So many things are going to come up and they're going to knock you off track and knock you off your schedule. And it's going to happen regularly, but it's your ability to, get yourself back on track. That's going to, basically show whether or not you're going to be successful or not. So, again, you don't need to get caught up in the plans and the goals. I've done this. Everybody's done this. I have a whole cabinet full of just notebooks, of half-filled notebooks where I'm this plan and that plan and this plan, trying to find the perfect plan. And this is the most stupidest thing in the world. So the most important thing that a person needs to think about is, what is it that I need to be working on right now? What is it? Okay, so for example, if you don't know the Arabic language, that's your number one priority. That is it. That's what you need to be working on. Because without the Arabic language, there's nothing else to work on. There's nothing else. What are you going to do? Memorize the Quran? Okay, tell you memorize the Quran, you can't even understand it. Isn't it more beneficial for you now to spend your time trying to memorize, to actually understand the Quran, learn the Arabic language, so when you do memorize the Quran that you actually understand what you're reading? Or what about, let's just say that Allah, whatever, your life, you don't live long enough to finish memorizing the Quran, but you died and you could understand it and you could act upon it. Which is more beneficial? So to dedicate your time to something, you have to dedicate it to the number one priority. The priority that's going to open up all these other things, and that's the Arabic language. So you need to get busy doing that first. You can't sit here right now and say, I'm going to write out a plan, I'm going to do this and this month and this month, and you haven't even get started first. And this is the whole point of what I'm saying here, that all results are built on actions that are taken towards achieving the goals. It's the action. You get results based on action. You don't get results based on the elaborate plans that you did. And a lot of people, they get that gratification or the satisfaction of just writing out the plan where they think that they've achieved something. You've achieved nothing, because you haven't taken one step towards achieving anything. All you did was write up a schedule. You could just say go learn the Arabic language, or go back to the other videos that I put on Patreon where I talked to, the last video I did discussing how my learning the Arabic language in Damaj. What did I do? I didn't go and write out this big elaborate plan. I wrote out a calendar, stuck it on the wall, at 8 months, like I said, and I told Abdul Hakim, I said, you got 8 months to get me speaking Arabic fluently, to get me fluent in the language. And that's it. I gave myself a time frame and a goal. Learn Arabic. I want to be able to understand the Sheikh. I want to be able to know what he's saying. That's it. And here's my time frame, 8 months. This is the time frame, and that was it. That's all I needed. I didn't write anything else. There was no other plan, because there was no other point in planning anything else. Because again, without the Arabic language, there is nothing else. Yeah, I could have memorized al-Usul al-Thalatha. I could have memorized al-Arba'in at that time. I memorized them later, but I'm saying at that time. But why? I'm not going to understand it. So what's the benefit? You know, I sat there and I studied the Arabic language for like 4 or 5 months. Then I started memorizing like al-usul al-thalatha, then al-arba'in al-nawawiyya, then al-baykuniyya, al-ajrumiyya. I started memorizing this stuff later, you know, after like 4 or 5 months when I could actually kind of understand it. You know, so that's it. You don't need an elaborate plan. Just stick a goal on the wall and just say, learn the Arabic language. That's it. And you know, every day that you get up, you just look at like, this is my goal. This is my goal. This is what I'm doing. And you know, and give yourself a time frame. Like, okay, you know, because obviously a lot of us, we work a lot better with you know, with this like deadline and this type of like, I have to get it done by this date. A lot of people, they work harder like that. Some people do, some people don't. Other people like they just procrastinate. Whatever the case is, you do whatever is best for you and whatever works for you. But the thing is you don't need all these elaborate plans with all these different colors and all this, you know, hanging up on the walls. And no, all you need, this is my goal. This is the time that I'm trying to achieve it in. And get to work. Just get to work. And as you're working, you make adjustments. You know, it's just like, you know, a flight. You know, he's flying. If he gets a little off course, well, he just keeps making adjustments. He's got to keep making adjustments to stay on course. And that's what you do. You just keep making those adjustments until you know, to make sure that you're going towards your target. Because you don't want to sit there and, you know, if you don't make adjustments, and next thing you know, by the time you get to what you think is your destination, you're in a completely other destination than where you intended. So you have to keep making adjustments as you're going along. And you know, you modify your goals, you modify everything as you go along. Maybe 8 months is not feasible for you. Maybe you can't get it in 8 months. So you give up? No. You say, okay, I'm going to increase it 2 more months. Make it 10 months. All right, I'm going to add 2 more months to it. And you know, and keep doing it, and keep adjusting the goal. But the most important thing is to just get started, get to work. Get focused, like, you know, get focused. This is my goal, and this is what I'm doing, and get to work. And stop, you know, and you could write up all these plans and all this stuff as you go along. But the most important thing is to get to work first. And Allah knows best.